Hello and welcome back to the KCC channel. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today, we're jumping into some I Don't Work Here Lady. Please check out the KCC Discord linked in the description down below. There you can talk to me and a whole bunch of KCC fans who hang out there on a regular basis. I look forward to seeing you there. Our first story today comes to us from Right Reality. I just wanted a drill, not a police report. Let's jump right in. Alright, so a little backstory. This happened about 4 months ago. I had just finished an 11-hour shift and needed to stop at Home Depot to get a new drill. I just wanted to run in, buy it, run out, and get home. Of course, it wasn't that easy. I had just gotten to the drills and was looking over the options in my price range when I hear it. Excuse me, where are the wax toilet rings? There are a few other people in the area, so I ignore it. Assuming there's an employee nearby, it's important to add, as I work in traffic control and just got off the job site, I'm wearing high visibility pants, a high visibility vest shirt that says company name traffic control on the back, a radio with a shoulder mic, and have a traffic control technician certification card displayed on my vest. The employees here wear orange aprons and normal clothes. Hello, do you want to do your job or just stand there looking at tools? At this point, I glanced around to see what was going on. I assumed some customer was berating an employee, which happens a lot at this location unfortunately. I was surprised, however, to see some 30-year-old guy in a white button-down shirt and tie looking at me like I'm stupid. "Can I help you?" I said, still not sure of the situation, but that seemed to tick him off. "Yes, you can tell me where the damn wax rings are," he shouted. At this point, it clicked in my head what was going on. "I'm sorry, sir," I started saying. I don't want to hear anything but an aisle number," he yelled, interrupting me and drawing the attention of a few other shoppers. "Honestly, how did you get this job being so stupid?" I tried again. "I don't work." He cuts me off again. "Oh my god, why is this so hard? Where are the wax rings?" Now, I don't know why, but I got an idea in my head that I thought would be amusing, and at the very least might get him away from me. I pointed behind him at a random aisle where wax rings almost certainly weren't in and said, "It's right there." "Finally, how stupid can you effing be?" he yelled, huffing and storming off. I thought that was the end of it. I figured he'd realize they're not in that aisle and then find an actual employee to ask. Nope. He came right back and started yelling that I don't even know how to do my job and that his best friend is the district manager and he'll have my job. During his yelling, I noticed a few shoppers staring at us. I just raised my hand, pointed to the same aisle as before and said, "They're right there. Look, can't you see them? How stupid can you effing be?" I retorted, taking glee in throwing the last part back at him. But he wasn't amused. He smacked my hand down and shoved me, yelling something about stupid punk teenagers. That was a bad idea. I'm not a skilled fighter or super strong or anything, but I know when I can take someone. This guy clearly didn't. I punched him once square in the nose, presumably breaking it, and he fell back, hitting his head on the concrete ground hard. "Someone call the police! This guy just attacked me!" he yelled, as the crowd nearby grew larger and larger. I was worried. Obviously, it was in self-defense, but I kept thinking that I should have shoved him back and not punched him. I was worried that if he hit his head to the point it caused a lot of damage, I could get in trouble. A manager came over and asked what was going on. He started screaming that, "This employee attacked me when I tried to ask for simple directions. Look what he did." By this point, blood is visible on the spot he hit his head, along with the blood pouring out of both nostrils. "Who did?" the manager said, puzzled and concerned, looking around at the actual employees who were still on their way over to the commotion. "Oh my god, are you all this stupid? Him!" he screamed, pointing at me. He doesn't work here, sir," the manager said. The manager got on the radio for more employees, ignoring the man's insistence that I do, and tells me to follow him. He takes me to the security office and has me wait for the police. Luckily, multiple customers and the camera saw my side of the story. And since the police went to the injured person first to render aid, they also interviewed witnesses over there before coming to me. When they came in, I gave my side of the story. The police said it contradicts his version of events, but that it matches the witnesses' statements. They said the guy was yelling that he wanted me arrested and locked up. That's when the manager pulled up the footage, which showed him hit my hand and shove me. And I only hit him after that and one time. Also, in my favor, I was facing him with the drill shelf behind me when he shoved me, so I was somewhat cornered. They then asked if I wanted to press charges, and since he wanted to get me arrested, I decided hell yeah, lock his butt up. They arrested him, and a few months later, I found out that he pleaded guilty and avoided jail time. But now, he has an assault charge on his record. I honestly wouldn't have pressed charges if it wasn't for the fact that he wanted to press charges against me. I hope he learned his lesson and doesn't treat anyone that way again, even if they're a Home Depot employee. If you're ever in a situation where you have the opportunity to press charges, press charges. It's the only way these idiots are going to learn to keep their hands to themselves. And even if they don't learn, well, they might get locked up for a little bit. Then they can't lay their hands on anybody else, and you've really done a public service. Do me a quick favor and take a look down below the video. If that subscribe button's still red, it means you're actually not subscribed to the KCC channel. Please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories. This next story comes to us from Art is Life 22 Meep. Lady thought I worked at the museum, but I'm 10. Let's jump right in. Okay, I had forgotten all about this and not sure if it does belong here, but my mom brought this up yesterday and I thought it would be a good story to share. A wholesome one. When I was a kid, I used to be really into dinosaurs, like really into them, knowing almost everything about my favorite ones and had hopes of becoming a paleontologist. And yes, Jurassic Park, the first film, is still one of my favorite movies, right next to The Ballad of Big Al. Yep, I'm a nerd. Anyway, when I was a kid, we went to visit my grandparents in another state, and Grandma mentioned that a new museum had just opened near the city. And Mom and Dad thought, why not? I was excited. My sister was okay with it since we were going to her favorite shop afterward. Now, keep in mind, I'm a 10-year-old girl, over 5 feet and a bit baby-faced still. Also, the museum employees were in safari-style clothes. I remember that well because I thought they looked cool and like real paleontologists. I don't remember what I was wearing, but Mom said they were just plain clothes. The museum was awesome. They had real skeletons beside a painted version of the dinosaur on the wall and loads of information on each fossil and skeleton. I stood beside this kid younger than me and he was confused about this one pterosaur skeleton above us and he asks his mom what that bird was. When she didn't know, I tell him all about this little pterosaur and what they like to eat, that they had feathers, their wing membrane being similar to bats, etc. You would have thought that I had told him all the secrets of the world with how wide his eyes were and this look of awe plastered on his face. He and I chatted for a long time as we walked around the museum and I answered all the questions he had about them. After a while, the mom said, "Wow, you know these creatures well. Thank you for taking the time to give us a tour." I smile before Mom called me over and we went into the shop to look at the dino stuff they had. I vaguely remember this, but Mom helped to fill me in. She has a sharper memory than I do. According to Mom, the lady was checking out with her son and she started talking about me and how well I knew all about my job, saying that her son had so much fun and asked if the manager could give me a raise. The cashier asks who I was, and after she described me, the cashier was confused. That's when Mom stepped in and explained that I don't work there since I'm 10, but that I just love dinosaurs and love talking about them to anyone who wants to hear. The lady seemed embarrassed, but she was thankful to me nonetheless and asked my mom to tell me that for her. I was busy looking through the toys and wasn't listening to them. Her son waved goodbye to me as they walked out and I waved back. Mom told me how proud she was and that I made a little boy's day. I left with a big smile and a stuffed velociraptor to commemorate the occasion. So sorry to anyone who was expecting a crazy lady story, but I thought a wholesome one about a simple mistake leading to a fun day and making someone happy would have been better. I absolutely love these wholesome stories because, you know, that could have made that kid's day. In fact, it could have put that kid on the path to a career as an actual paleontologist. You never know what just that little bit of encouragement would have done. This next story comes to us from Jack D. Sanchez. I called roadside assistance today. Let's jump right in. Note that I am a physically capable adult male, mildly relevant. I blew out a tire while driving this afternoon, pulled off the busy road to a side street to assess the damage and start work on replacing the flat with the spare from the trunk. It turned out that the lug wrench provided in this particular car was absolutely tiny, and thus provided very little leverage. Try as I might, I only managed to loosen one of the 5 lug nuts holding the tire on. No problem, I thought, as I have roadside assistance coverage on my auto insurance. A short call later, my insurance has dispatched a local service provider, and I receive a text stating that Daryl, from the local provider, will be arriving at my location by 2:34 p.m. That's less than a half-hour wait, so I'm pretty happy. At 2:33 p.m., a van approaches. The driver waves at me and pulls over. Driver immediately hops out with a toolkit in hand. We exchange brief pleasantries and I explain my problem. Driver smiles and tells me the same thing happened to him last month and says not to worry about it. He takes out a proper wrench, I hand him the jack and spare, and he has my car back in operation in about 6 minutes flat. It was at this point when the conversation got a bit muddled. I ask him if he needs anything from me, like a signature, to ensure he gets paid. He responds that no money is necessary. I try to clarify my question and explain that I have roadside assistance on my policy and that my insurer got him dispatched to me and that I think they will pay his employer for the service call. His response, "Oh, no one dispatched me. I was just driving by and thought that you could use some help." So you're not Daryl? Nope, Brian. I can't believe that I handed this guy my jack and just watched him crank up my car while lying on the frozen pavement. I don't even remember how many times I apologized. Guy wouldn't even let me hand him some cash. He just left in full cheer and told me to pay it forward. Aftermath. I waited another 10 minutes for Daryl but gave up and left after finding his employer's phone number and canceling the help request. My insurer had been sending me automated texts all day along the lines of, "Has your service provider arrived yet? Reply Y if yes and if no. Has your service been completed yet? And how likely are you to recommend this service provider from 1 to 10? I can't figure out how to respond in such a way that no one gets in trouble or over or underpaid. Anyway, thanks, Brian. Wait, what? 2 wholesome stories in a row? Is Rob going soft? Now, as many of you know already, because I think I've talked about previous jobs many times on this channel, I used to be a tow truck driver. And we had many calls like this because we worked for CAA, and we were so backlogged that sometimes we couldn't get to a simple tire change for at least a couple of hours. So there would be times that Good Samaritans would help out, get people back up and running again, we'd get on scene, and there'd just be no vehicles there. So if this happens to you, I'm sorry for the tow truck drivers that don't contact you back, but you could at least send a message to them and let them know that you're done and out of the way, so they can move on to the next call and somebody else doesn't have to wait so long. This next story comes to us from Who Knows 13492. Cast to act as production staff, get treated as production staff. Let's jump right in. Now that my NDA is over, I figured I could finally share a great story that happened last summer while I was working as a supporting actor. I'm still not going to say the name of the TV show because they're run by a huge media company, but it was a very big, critically acclaimed US TV show. I, 21 female at the time, had been working as a supporting actor, basically a glorified extra, for a few years. And last summer, I was cast for the new season of this big TV show. I was cast as a European-looking concert staff music tech for an episode based around a concert. I was asked to bring outfit choices, so I borrowed a few items of clothing and accessories that were my boyfriend's, as he actually works as a sound engineer and videographer. On the first day of filming, the wardrobe department chose which clothing I should wear and approved my accessories, etc. They were commenting on how good and realistic I looked, and I told them it was because I was cast to act as the same job my boyfriend actually does, which they found entertaining. A few times during that day, I had other supporting actors come up to me asking for direction and questions about where they should go, and I told them I was only dressed like this for the role and was a supporting actor like them. They thought it was hilarious and apologized. Around the third scene we shot on the day I was given my directions again, and had specific instructions on what to carry, who to pretend to talk to and when, etc. Normal background stuff. Action was called for the scene, and the cameras were rolling. It was then that I hear a member of the actual production staff hiss at me, "Get out of the shot!" I looked confused, but continued doing what I was meant to so I didn't cause a retake. I had to pick up some electrical cables, walk through the main actors, and walk out the door with them. I picked up the cables and heard, "Stop it, what are you doing?" This woman was talking in that annoying hissy loud whisper, and everyone could hear. I ignored because it is literally my job to, and walked through the main cast and out the door. I paused on the other side of the door and waited for cut. As soon as production called cut, I walked back to my initial placement to shoot the scene again, only to see this woman running towards me. She's still trying to keep her voice down, but screeches at me, "What the hell do you think you're doing? You can't just walk across the set when the cameras are rolling. You can move this stuff later." I stood back, stunned, and just scoffed. As soon as it sunk in that she had mistaken me for actual production staff, I nervous laughed and just said, I meant to. I'm an actor." Her face was priceless. She asked why my outfit was so realistic, and I told her about my partner's job. She was incredibly embarrassed as her speaking caused the scene to be shot again. All of the production staff and the very famous main cast watched this happen and started smiling. I just walked back to my starting position and got ready for the next shot. From then on, the production team all recognized me and said hi, making jokes about how I was trying to steal their jobs. Even the main 3 cast members, who I massively idolized, began chatting to me between takes and joking around, and generally not being the Hollywood jerks I was worried they might be. I didn't see the woman again for the week I was filming and continued being friendly on set with the 3 famous guys, one of whom I had the pleasure of taking smoke breaks with a couple of times. All in all, I'm glad she was a jerk because my whole time filming was so much more fun. And I got smoke breaks with one of my favorite actors. Okay, so something really jumped out at me here because if you're dressed better than the actors normally are for their roles, that means the costume department at this production is doing a really bad job. Something else to think about though is that stories like this is sometimes how people get their acting career started, because you're now in their minds, and if they're looking for somebody, you might be at the top of the list. I would keep in touch with these people for sure. Check out all 4 OPs linked in the description down below. I thank you for watching, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.